The scene starts peacefully as Truman and Patricia are fast asleep. However, a sudden strange sound startles them, raising suspicions of a possible intruder in the house. Carefully, they descend the stairs and are surprised to find a girl looking weak and asleep on the sofa. It is evident that the girl is under the influence of alcohol. Truman recognizes her as one of his clients who fell asleep after the party the night before. Truman wakes her up and asks her to leave. Truman is a struggling entrepreneur who regularly hosts small parties in hopes of securing deals with his clients. As Truman plans to woo an important client, Patricia appears troubled by what seems like a futile meeting and questions her own worth. However, Truman remains optimistic, believing that this special deal can resolve their debts and mortgage. Despite the financial difficulties haunting them, Truman impulsively spends his money to buy an expensive car in order to impress his clients, much to Patricia's disappointment. Patricia expresses her frustrations, highlighting the burden of their debt. At that moment, Patricia reveals her willingness to seek a part-time job. However, Truman chooses to keep Patricia at home, as he believes that success is just around the corner for them. In the next scene, we are introduced to Weston, a wealthy businessman who is renowned among the elite of the city. He is surrounded by a life of luxury, including his beautiful wife, Marina, their son Robbie, and their loyal housekeeper Belle. However, despite the outward appearance of perfection to outsiders, this family is too caught up in their own work and busyness, often neglecting their household responsibilities and even their own son. When Belle reminds them about Robbie's birthday, Alex and Marina dismissively instruct Belle to pass on their well wishes to Robbie on their behalf. Feeling disappointed by the lack of attention from his parents, Robbie clearly feels neglected and unappreciated. Robbie's spirits are momentarily lifted when Belle surprises him with a birthday cake and gift, bringing him some excitement and happiness. However, Robbie's enthusiasm quickly plummets when he approaches Cheryl at school and is politely rejected. Feeling dejected by the rejection, Robbie decides to skip school and go off on his own. However, Alex discovers Robbie's behavior and confronts him at home. Alex emphasizes the importance of academic success in order to gain admission to a prestigious university as a consequence for Robbie's actions. Alex confiscates Robbie's car keys as a disciplinary measure, highlighting that educational achievement is the top priority for the Weston family. Meanwhile, Truman, filled with enthusiasm, entertains a wealthy and influential client for a dinner that is expected to lead to a significant deal. However, his attention becomes entirely focused on Patricia, whom he shamelessly flirts with and even crosses unwanted boundaries. Manson's disturbing advances towards Patricia infuriate her, and she confides in Truman about it. However, trapped in the pressures of work, Truman chooses to prioritize the important deal and suggests that Patricia comply with Manson's advances. Reluctantly, Patricia agrees to sacrifice her dignity for the sake of the deal. The next morning, Truman is devastated when he learns that the deal he worked on with his wife's dignity has been given to Alex, despite his efforts to present his case to his boss, Mike. Truman is informed that Alex is considered a more valuable asset to the company during these crisis times. Disheartened, Truman returns home to share the bad news with Patricia, who is also affected by the situation. On an unusual Sunday, Patricia was shocked by her husband's decision to work. However, Truman's actions took a tragic turn. When he entered his office and was overwhelmed by deep despair, he took a desperate step and ended his life by shooting himself. The sound of the gunshot alerted a cleaning lady who rushed into Truman's room, only to be met with the horrifying sight of his lifeless body. Meanwhile, the news of Truman's death shattered Patricia. A few days after her husband's passing, Patricia visited his office and met with Mike to inquire about Truman's insurance policy. However, Mike coldly informed her that the policy had been invalidated due to Truman's tragic actions, rendering it unaffected. Feeling betrayed and hurt, Patricia went to her husband's room to gather his belongings. While there, she came across a family photo of Alex and discreetly copied important data from her husband's computer, intending to seek revenge for his death. Patricia's first action was to attack the man who violated her body without consent, confronting him in her residence and brutally shooting him in broad daylight. Afterwards, she closely monitored Alex's activities and eventually discovered that Robbie was Alex's son. Patricia disguised herself as a caring parent and obtained Robbie's school correspondence. She wrote a letter to Robbie's parents, emphasizing the importance of academic guidance. The next day, Patricia received a phone call from Alex's wife, Marina, inviting her to discuss the home tutoring arrangement at their house. Patricia disguised herself as Amanda and visited Robbie's home. Robbie was immediately drawn to her. When Marina inquired about the starting date for the tutoring sessions, Patricia lied, stating that she needed to postpone a due to ongoing renovations at her own residence and required temporary accommodation. Robbie offered their guest house. Patricia agreed after Alex and Marina suggested it as well. She happily accepted the offer. In the next scene, Patricia picks up Robbie from school dressed provocatively. As they return to the guest house, Patricia initiates the tutoring session, unaware of Robbie's infatuation with her. Over time, Patricia develops a friendship with Marina, seizing the opportunity to gather more information about the family and gain her trust. She assists Marina with various tasks. Patricia also discovers that Marina relies on anxiety medication. Armed with this knowledge, she discreetly begins to add sedatives to Marina's coffee and wine, gradually compromising her health. One evening, while Robbie was playing basketball in the backyard, he caught a glimpse of Patricia changing clothes in the guest house, piquing his curiosity. Robbie began to sneak peeks at Patricia through the window. Patricia noticed Robbie's actions and teased him. However, before Robbie could playfully tease her back, Belle intervened and put an end to Robbie's voyeuristic behavior, scolding him. Belle took Robbie away the next day. When Belle is not around and Alex and Marina are busy working, Patricia takes the opportunity to visit Robbie's room. She warns Robbie not to spy on her and suggests that if he wants something, he can ask. Robbie follows her to his room, and Patricia promises to teach him everything she knows. Patricia encourages Robbie to relax and start experiencing intimate moments together. The next morning, Patricia has a friendly chat with Alex before returning to her room. There, she finds Belle installing curtains on her window, which prompts Patricia to decide to get rid of the older woman. Patricia meets Belle alone at home while Alex and Marina are working. Stealthily, she enters the house and makes her way to the basement. Cunningly, she sets up a trap using thin wire and removes the light bulb. As Belle descends the dark stairs, she trips over the wire and tragically loses her life. In another scene, after Robbie returns from school, Patricia is pleased with his improved grades and shares another intimate moment with him. Shortly after Marina returns from work, she calls out to Belle, but receives no answer. Marina investigates and discovers Belle's lifeless body in the basement. As the authorities handle Belle's remains, Marina struggles to come to terms with the loss of Belle. That night, Patricia approaches Alex, who appears upset by recent events. She tries to calm him down and offers reassurance that she can help him relax. As Alex embraces Patricia from behind near the billiard table, Robbie witnesses the affair through the window. Aware of Robbie's presence, Patricia pretends as if Alex is forcing her into an intimate encounter. After that, Patricia offers to continue taking care of Marina, considering Belle's absence. She spikes the tea that Marina drinks and contacts the pharmacy using Marina's identity to obtain more pills, which contributes to Marina's declining health. Later, Patricia visits Robbie's room and apologizes for the earlier incident involving the billiard room. Cunningly, Patricia claims that Alex forced her, sparking Robbie's hatred towards his father. That night, Patricia offers Marina another drugged tea. On the other hand, Marina expresses gratitude for her friendship with Patricia. Now, we can clearly see that the household of Alex's family is slowly crumbling. As Robbie bids farewell to Patricia before leaving for his new university, they engage in a passionate act one last time before Robbie heads to the airport. The scene shifts as Marina finds herself alone in her home during a heavy rainstorm, feeling frightened and anxious. She receives unsettling phone calls and senses a menacing presence. Equipping herself with a knife, Marina investigates the sounds coming from the basement. Suddenly, Alex startles Marina as he unexpectedly returns from work, narrowly avoiding being mistakenly stabbed by Patricia. At that moment, Marina already knows that Patricia is behind her declining health and tries to make Alex understand Patricia's deceitful nature. Unfortunately, Alex dismisses her claims. The next morning, Alex notices Patricia's car number and recalls seeing a similar vehicle driven by Truman when he arrived at the office. Alex immediately sets off to search for Truman's belongings and discovers a photo featuring Truman and Patricia. Alex becomes worried and confides in Mike, who confirms that Patricia is indeed Truman's wife. This revelation sends Alex into a panic, urging him to desperately try to contact Marina, but he fails to reach her. Subsequently, Alex contacts the police to rush to his wife's aid. Meanwhile, at home, Marina confronts Patricia's menacing threat with malicious intent to end her life. Patricia restrains Marina, tying her to the bed, and forces her to ingest pills, making it appear as if she has committed suicide. Just as Patricia is about to carry out her plan, Alex arrives just in time to intervene. After slapping her and pushing her through the window, he sees Patricia lying motionless and unconscious. However, when the police arrive at the scene, Patricia is nowhere to be found. The police helped the couple calm down and ensured their safety. That night, the couple received a reassuring phone call from their son, who told them that he was adjusting well to his new environment. As Robbie retreated to his bed, where Patricia was already waiting for him, they turned off the lights before sleeping together, and the movie ended with the ending that you all know.